Hi guys, Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel. Um, I know I've been inconsistent for the last couple of weeks and so I apologize, but I'm back and I wanted to start this new year with just kind of talking about behaviors, right? With New Year's coming along, everyone kind of has these different New Year's resolutions and things they want to change or things that they want to do differently, right? And it's either one of two things. You want to either cut something out or you want to add something to your life. And so I just wanted to give you guys a few tips on what I've learned in regards to um, changing some behaviors. So for me, the biggest thing is to kind of ask yourself, okay, is it a behavior that you want to change just because it's, good or bad? Or is it an addiction, right? There's a little bit of a difference. So with an addiction, it's when that behavior begins to control your life. So for instance, if you're a smoker, you realize you have to smoke X amount of times a day, or you smoke, however many times a week, or you always smoke after you have your coffee or while you're drinking your coffee, or there's things that all of a sudden smoking is what's going to become the most important thing in your day, right? And so with a lot of behavioral change, um, the most important thing honestly is really to figure out and to sit down and kind of look at your own life and figure out what is it that is happening before I engage in this behavior. Um, so I used to be a behavioral specialist, and we would use this thing called the ABCs, right? So the A is antecedent, B is the behavior, and C are the consequences. Sorry, my dog just ran out. So with A, antecedent, what was happening before you engaged in this behavior? Let's say you are struggling with an eating disorder. What happened before you started to binge, or before you decided to purge, or um, eating extra sweets or whatnot, right? Like, so what was it that was happening before that, so that you can look at it. Um, for the most part, these behaviors and addictions that people want to change um, don't aren't necessarily the problem, right? And so there's a lot of different things: addictions to substance use. I'm sorry. Um, Eating disorders or pornography, or those are just kind of the most common ones, but those really are not issues. Sure, those are behaviors that, we may be better off changing. But as a therapist, my goal was always to help my clients determine, okay, what is it that is causing you to engage in these behaviors, right? So for me, I used to struggling with eating disorders, and for me, it was always control, right? When I felt like I had no control over anything else in my life, I decided, okay, I can at least eat X, Y, and Z. Or I can control what I put into my body, and so therefore I decided not to eat, right? And so there were just, different things that would trigger relapses into being anorexic and things like that. And so, but once I realized that there were more things in my control than I initially thought, that really helped to, get rid of the eating disorder. And obviously with therapy and counseling and all of that, right? So it's not just, being able to recognize what the concerns are. um and another question that you want to ask yourself is, what is this need, what is this behavior doing for me, right? So again, with the eating, it was, I feel like I'm having control. Okay, so therefore the issue is a feeling or a sense of lack of control, right? A lot of times I've worked with a lot of folks that, were addicted to pornography, and the top two or three, reasons that people would watch porn were: one, they were bored; uh, two, they felt depressed or sad or anxious. And, when you achieve that, releases a bunch of serotonin, it releases all these chemicals, all the feel good chemicals, right? And so for them, it wasn't necessarily that this is what was the issue. The issue was that they were feeling sad and depressed and anxious, right? And so once we targeted that, once we figured out, okay, what's causing your anxiety, what's causing your depression, what's causing your need to feel this way, to feel like you are in control, or a need to feel like you have some semblance of control and power, right? So yeah, just a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. If for New Year's this year you wanted to change a specific behavior, I would encourage you guys to kind of look into that and figure out, okay, so I want to stop doing X, Y, and Z. What makes me do these things? When did I start doing this? How was I feeling? How do I feel after I do it? And I think that'll be really helpful for you guys to understand what is the trigger behind the behaviors. Because again, the behaviors aren't really the issue. The issue is really what's going on with your heart. And we want to make sure that you're feeling safe, and that, we want you to be whole. People around you, people who love you, want you to be whole. And so it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of self-awareness. It takes a lot of willingness to look at your own behaviors, to look at your thought patterns, to look at your life and kind of determine what is going on. And so, yeah, I just wanted to challenge you guys to look at yourselves and, really begin to self-analyze. And, obviously, if you have bigger issues, if there's a lot of trauma or things like that that are coming up, please reach out. Please find a therapist or a friend, a pastor, anything of that sort, because you're not alone. And just a super helpful tip: if you are currently living by yourself, or you're not in a place where you can trust the people you're living with or talk to them, something I found really helpful over the years is just to talk it out to anybody or to anything, right? My roommate has a dog. I talk to her all the time. I journal all the time. And so it's really helpful to get it out, regardless of what that looks like, right? Regardless of if it's drawing or painting or writing or talking to a dog or talking to a doll, or whatever. As long as you're releasing it and getting it out of your system, you will find it to be very helpful. So yeah, that's all for me from today. We will hopefully be coming on a little more consistently. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time.